Hello and welcome to the show. When it comes to Forza, there are always going to be certain cars that are special, that have a certain meaning to each of us, and for me, the Honda NSX is very much one of those cars. Started back in Forza 4 in the early days of me doing YouTube videos where I had a very, very fast A-Class one of these. It was my go-to car for A-Class racing. It was a very much incredible vehicle, and truth be told, while I have tended not to build them, I've tended not to use them that much since, that was more to do with the fact that I knew how damn fast they were. It almost felt a little bit cheating just going for the same vehicle, and I was always keen to try and find something that might possibly go faster, or certainly something that would compete it. And while I now tend to have ended up with a Lamborghini Miura, I still know that you can always go to an NSX and make something absurdly fast. It's an incredible vehicle to drive. Truth be told, they were not massively powerful. Standard, they had less than 300 horsepower in them, and compare that to some even modern hot hatches, it does seem a little bit underpowered. But where the real strength in the NSX comes is, of course, through the corner. Hell, it was a car that had the Ayrton Senna seal of approval. It is a phenomenally good handling car, while the Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the day may well have been quicker than the Honda in a straight line. Get to the twisty bits on the track, and the NSX would give them some serious troubles. And this was all in a car that is very easy to drive. It's a car easy to drive quickly, in a car relatively easy to live with. It was one of the first real supercars that you could use on a daily basis. It was an incredibly reliable vehicle, many examples having done over 100,000 miles, which for the often highly strung supercars is well out of reach without an awful lot of expense. Yeah, these were remarkable cars for usability and for outright speed, and remained largely unchanged. While there was a slight facelift, a slight different front bumper, and the later ones did get a little bit more power, that figure still remained under the 300 horsepower mark, and the modern ones were still just as good when it came to the corners. However, there is concerning news whenever companies want to bring a car name back. You see, the NSX died out around 2005, mid-2000s. They stopped production on the Honda, which of course is a very sad day for everybody, but there were still these legendary cars. But Honda wanted to resurrect the name, and when car manufacturers want to go digging through the archives for legendary names to slap on new cars, it doesn't always work out so well. Look at the modern Dodge Dart, that front-wheel drive generic box, and while it might not be the worst front-wheel drive generic box out there, it's hardly worthy of the Dart name. While Dodge did do a better job with the likes of the Challenger and modern Charger, it's still not something that fills me with confidence. Not at all. And to look at the car, wasn't also a particularly great start. While the version that we have in Forza is of course branded as Acura rather than the Honda, they are still basically the same car, just with some different badges on. It looks big and chunky in a way that the original NSX never did, and then when you find out it is all-wheel drive hybrid power and weighs almost 4,000 pounds, the concerns continue to grow. You see, the original NSX was great because of how good it was when it came to the corners. Now this new one might have almost 600 horsepower, 650 torque, but there's a lot of weight going on. There's a lot of weight going on in this car, and my biggest fear was that it would be, well, nowhere near as good when it got to the corners. I also don't, as I've said on a few cars already, I don't like the stupid daylight running lights they have at the front. It makes it look cheap and it makes it look tacky, and at times I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the front grille of this vehicle. Performance from that V6 hybrid system in here will mean the car gets from 0 to 60 in a pretty damn fast time. It's a sub 3 second run. It'll be doing 100 in about 6, top speed of 190 miles an hour. It is certainly a lot quicker in a straight line than the NSXs of old. And I'm very happy to report, and rather surprised, however, when it gets to the corners, it is sublime. I was fully expecting not to like this car, for it to have taken the NSX name, put it on a modern hybrid sports car, and for it to be dull to drive and quick accelerating. And I was completely and utterly wrong. I was completely and utterly wrong about the car. You can throw it around like an absolute lunatic, and it is perfectly happy to do all of this sideways stuff that you could possibly want it to. And then you can take corners normally, and it will be incredibly fast. It has some of the best turn-in I've ever driven for an all-wheel drive car. This is a vehicle that weighs as much as a Lamborghini Centenario. This is a vehicle that weighs almost 4,000 pounds, and I wouldn't have known that until I looked at the stats. I wouldn't know that from driving the car. It doesn't feel big, it doesn't feel heavy. It feels as lively as the NSXs of, oh, you don't have to be a moron with the handbrake to get the car sliding around. It is, I guess, might have a little bit more power going to the rear wheels of the vehicle, kind of from default, if you like, and it works wonders for making the car feel alive. It is an involving vehicle to drive. I've talked about this a lot with the Centenario, where the big Lamborghini, as fast as it was and as quick as it was around the corner, there was just something missing. There was that exciting spark missing from the Lamborghini. And I am really very, very happy to report that that exciting spark is not missing whatsoever from the NSX. It is incredible to drive, and that was at Lime Rock, that is a very, very twisty technical circuit. So, of course, it was off to Yas Marina to see how fast this vehicle would go around our, well, an interesting test circuit, this one. There are quite a lot of these slower acceleration zones, and cars like the NSX could come undone with some of these slow corners with a bit too much understeer, but that all-wheel drive acceleration always likely to help them out. Interestingly, this fast double right-hander's quite a few cars with big oversteer slides. I wondered, with the NSX being that bit more lively, a bit more excitable, shall we say, I wondered if we might get caught out through there, but there was no big Larry oversteer moment from the car as we come underneath the hotel. Look at it, the patient is ever jumping on the throttle with any car out of that corner, but the NSX, again, is carrying fantastic corner speed. Is up towards the penultimate turn. No fancy moving around aero parts on this particular car. In fact, no visible giant wing on the back of it to force it into the ground. It is accelerating now out of that final corner down towards the finish line. And of course, never going to be any issue with traction out of the turns, unless you want there to be, in which case then you can be a real moron and throw the car around. It's just a lot of fun. It's an awful lot of fun driving this NSX. You can do all sorts of stupid things, and it has the grip to get away with it. The brakes are going to get you slowed down for corners bloody quickly as well when you need it to, and overall the lap time is mighty impressive. It goes into an 8th place, so 1 minute 8.9 from the car. No, it doesn't fight with the Centenario. No, it's not going to beat the track-based Viper or the track-based Lotus 311. But it's less than a second down on the Jaguar Formula E car. It beats the Aston Martin GT12, it beats the Cayman GT4, beats the M4 GTS, beats those cars pretty damn convincingly. It's miles ahead of the Ferrari California T. Now, of course, I know the California T is a bit more of a comfortable cruising car rather than an out-and-out race car, but the NSX beats the out-and-out race cars as well. It doesn't quite beat the full-on supercars, but that's a seriously quick lap time. I wasn't expecting it, I thought it'd be quick, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite that fast. Now, I've driven lots of these big, powerful, and on the slightly heavy side all-wheel drive cars. Things like this Audi R8 V10, things like the Lamborghini Centenario last time, and other big Lambos. And while, yes, they are getting better, this R8 V10, for example, is better than the previous versions that I have driven. None of them even remotely get close to being as entertaining to drive as the NSX. You know, don't get me wrong, the Audi isn't a horrible understeering boat that is terrible to drive when it comes to going around the circuit. That is not the case. Some of the big Lambos can be quite challenging with their tendency to have lots of understeer with a huge amount of power that is associated with them, but you know, these are good cars. The Centenario is a good car to drive. The R8s and so on is a good vehicle to drive, but none of them stand a chance of even getting slightly close to the NSX in terms of being an involving vehicle to drive, in terms of being a fun vehicle to drive. Take it around Sonoma, for example. This is a tough circuit for cars like this, the big, heavier, all-wheel drive vehicles that you expect to perhaps have a lot of understeer through these medium-speed corners, and the NSX doesn't. The NSX simply doesn't. If I had a choice of taking the Centenario for a lap around Sonoma or the NSX, I'm taking the NSX, the same with the R8 V10, and hell, even the rear-wheel drive sports cars and so on that this is going to be competing against. The NSX is just so much more fun to drive. I don't know how on earth they have done it. I had, you know, a lot of concerns, but with this sort of vehicle I didn't expect it to work. I don't care the fact that it's a hybrid vehicle, I don't care that it's an all-wheel drive vehicle. While that may not be how the original NSX was, this is such a bloody good car that it makes no difference to me. This is coming from somebody who loves the original NSX. This new one is phenomenal. It really, really is. And I mean, if this is how we're going to end up with our hybrid sports cars, our hybrid kind of supercar killers and so on, I am all for it, because it is such a very, very good car to drive. Now, as far as its usability, as far as its ability to be a supercar that you use every day, and reliability, well, that is what we will find out over the coming years, I would imagine. that Honda and so on will hopefully have got that one down. Certainly, in the day, modern supercars are generally longer lived than their older counterparts. So, will the new car become my favourite of the NSXs? Perhaps not quite, but I will tell you this, it came a damn sight closer than I ever possibly thought that I ever could have expected. The better question is, does it deserve the NSX name? Does it live up to that NSX name? And despite all the various changes, as soon as you're getting that car, you will drive it for a couple of laps, and then you will hopefully agree with me that yes, it absolutely does.